Tasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our Iskcon official YouTube channel. Today I am going to discuss 12th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, in which this Dhruva charita, the pastimes of the Dhruva, are concluded. We have been listening to the pastimes of Dhruva from chapter 8 to this is the last chapter, 5 chapters. His pastimes are described. So in this chapter we'll hear how Dhruva goes back to Godhead. And also we'll hear what is the result of hearing these pastimes. We'll hear. So, as we have discussed in the last chapter, chapter 11, that Kubera came to give benediction to Dhruva Maharaj because Dhruva Maharaj stopped fighting and the advice of his grandfather, Swayambhuva Manu. So Kubera said in verse 3 that actually you have not killed the Jakyas, nor have they killed your brother, for the ultimate cause of generation and annihilation is the eternal time picture of the Supreme Lord. He has done everything. In also Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Jassena manyatahatam jadva hantaram jasseva manyatahatam ubhoto no vijanate nayang hanti nahanyate. Those who think that I was killed or I killed him, ubhoto no ajanato. Both of them don't understand that actually no one kills anybody or no one is killed also. Nahanyata neman sarire. Even if the body is killed and the person is not killed. So in verse 7, Kubera says, my dear Dhruva Maharaj, son of Maharaj Uttanpada, we have heard that you are constantly engaged in transcendental loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known for his lotus navel. You are therefore worthy to take all benedictions from us. Please therefore ask without hesitation whatever benediction you want from me, the richest person in the world, I mean in the universe. Kubera, Vityesa Jakhirakyasa. He wants to give benedictions. What benedictions we will take? So, Dhruva Maharaj said, Saraj Rajena Varaya Chudito Dhruva Mahabhagavata Mahamati Haro Savabre Acharitam Smritim Jaya Tarati Ajatnena Duratayam Tama. What did they seek? That the great sage Maitra is narrating this incident to Vidura in Haridwar. It starts from 3rd canto, 1st chapter, I may say 5th chapter. When dear Vidura, when thus asked to accept a benediction from Kubera, the Jakyaraj, king of the Jakyas, Dhruva Maharaj, that most elevated pure devotee who was an intelligent and thoughtful king, begged that he might have unflinching faith in and remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for thus a person can cross over the ocean of nations very easily, although it is very difficult to for others to cross. Sorry. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada Maharaj says that Dhruva Maharaj wanted a benediction which surpasses even the highest Purushartha, liberation, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Mukhya. The highest Purushartha is liberation, Mukhya. He wanted the benediction that he might constantly remember the lotus feet of the Lord. This stage of life is called Pancham Purushartha, Krishna Prema. So, in 10 to 16, Maitramun describes about the glorious rule of Dhruva Maharaj, 36,000 years, as benedicted by the Lord, and then he retired. So in verse 12 it is stated that Dhruva Maharaj was endowed with all good and godly qualities. He was very respectful to the devotees of the Supreme Lord and very kind to the poor and innocent, and he protected religious principles. With all these qualifications, he was considered to be the direct father of all the citizens. So, thus Dhruva Maharaj at the end left his kingdom, which extended all over the earth and was bounded by the great oceans. He considered his body, his wives, his children, his friends, his army, his rich treasury, his very comfortable palace, and his many enjoyable, pleasurable grounds to be creations of the illusory energy. Thus, in due course of time, he retired in the forest in the Himalayas known as Badrikashrama. He went to Badrikashrama. And so, in verse 17, it is stated that in Badrikashrama, Dhruva Maharaj's senses became completely purified because he bathed regularly in the crystal clear, purified water of Ganges. He fixed his sitting position and by yogic practice controlled the breathing process and the air of life. While doing this at the age of 5, we have heard in the verse in the 8th chapter, I was doing austerity. And in this way, his senses were completely withdrawn. Then he concentrated his mind on the Archa Vigraha from the form of the Lord, which is the exact replica of the Lord, and thus meditating upon him, he entered into complete trance. In verse 40, it is stated that Dhruva Maharaj saw two very beautiful associates of Lord Vishnu in the plane. They are coming with aeroplane. They had four hands and a blackish body luster. They are very youthful, and their eyes were just like reddish lotus flowers. How beautiful they were! And they held clubs in their hands, and they were dressed in very attractive garments with helmets and were decorated with necklaces, bracelets, and earrings, just like Vishnu. So they are Nanda and Sunanda, the Lord's associates. The two confidential associates of Lord Vishnu said, "Dear King, let there be all good fortune unto you. Please attentively hear what we shall say." So I will also say, you please attentively hear. I am saying this thing, what was being said by these two associates, Nanda and Sunanda. When you were only 5 years old, you underwent severe austerities and you thereby greatly satisfied the Supreme Personality of God. This is our perfection of life, to satisfy the Lord. Sansiddhim haritoshanam, swakarmana tamabhajya sansiddhim haritoshanam. The Lord also says this in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter. So, he says, the two associates of the Lord say that we have been deputed by him, the Lord, to take you to the spiritual world. That is our ultimate desire. We should go back to the spiritual world. Prabhupada wants you to go back to the spiritual world in this very life. So, Maharaj Dhruva was very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he heard the sweet speeches of the Lord's chief associates in the Vaikuntha planet, you imagine how Dhruva Maharaj was releasing the talks by those two associates. So he immediately took his sacred bath, dressed himself with suitable ornaments, and performed his daily spiritual duties. Thereafter, he offered his respectful obeisances to the great sages present there and accepted their blessings. He immediately didn't go to that spiritual plane, transcendental plane. He took all these activities and took blessings from the assembled sages there, Badrikashrama. So, in verse 30, it is stated by Maitra Muni, which is being relayed by Sukadeva Goswami, which is being relayed by Sutta Goswami, which is being relayed by me also to you. This is parampara. This is coming through parampara. Lakhs of years, crores of years ago, this happened. Swayambhu. So, it is stated that Taduttan Pada Putro Dadarsantakam Agatam Mrityur Murdhning Padam Dattva Arurva Dhutagruham. When Dhruva Maharaj was attempting to get on the transcendental plane, he saw death personified approaching. Not caring for death, however, he took advantage of the opportunity to put his feet on the head of death, and thus he got up on the airplane, which was as big as a house. He conquered death. So in the purport, the Prabhupada Maharaj says, a cat gives an example. A cat carries its kittens in the mouth, and it also catches a rat in its mouth. Superficially, the catching of the rat and the kitten appear to be one and the same, but actually they are not. When the cat catches the rat in its mouth, it means death for the rat. Whereas when the cat catches the kitten enjoys it. So there is no death for the devotees. The Lord also says in Bhagavad Gita 9th chapter, Amrutam Chaya Mrutuscha Sadasatyaham Arjuna. He is simultaneously death and also life, Amruta, Mrityu. Those who do not take shelter of the Lord, he comes as death. And those who take shelter of the Lord, he comes as immortality. So, in verse 32, it is stated that Dhruva was seated in the transcendental airplane, which was just about to start, when he remembered his poor mother Suniti, as we have described in verse chapter 8. So he thought to himself, how shall I go alone to the Vaikuntha planet and leave behind my poor mother? He was thinking of his mother, who was the spiritual master. His mother was the spiritual master, by whose advice he got the Lord. Chakyudan Dilajai Janme Janme Prabhu said. So the great associates of Vaikuntha Lokananda and Sunanda could understand the mind of Dhruva Maharaj, and thus they showed him that his mother Suniti was going forward in another plane. She was going ahead. She was going ahead. So in this way, there are so many glories of Dhruva Loka where he went there. But we will say that what is Phalashruti? We have heard about pastimes of Dhruva. Is there any effect or any result of hearing? It is stated in verse 45 that by hearing the narration of Dhruva Maharaj, one can fulfill desires for wealth, reputation, and increased duration of life. It is so auspicious that one can even go to heaven planet, right in Dhruva Loka, which was achieved by Dhruva Maharaj just by hearing about him. And the demigods also become pleased because this narration is also so glorious and it is so powerful that it can counteract all the results of one's sinful reactions. As I have said, that Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was listening to this Dhruva Charita and Prahlad Charita during his stay in Puri for 24 years. So thank you very much for listening to this pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj. And please don't forget to subscribe, share and like our channel and get the blessings of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.